So, real quick, the reason the Warwick pick is so dangerous, let's say, for example, that you're playing jungle. With jungle, what you need to learn is like the clears or whatever. So Warwick is normally like a 3 camp type of thing.
Yes.
Right, so you go here, here, and here, and then you get on the map, and you go this way, you go to top, or you go to mid, or, you know, you do whatever. What the problem is with this is that not only do you have these like really like small, like short opens where they're like really aggressive, but then you have the blood trail, which is like, you'll be up here at 3, and blood trail down here, or down here, it like pings you, right? It's like, oh, I could go here, I could go here. So then you got to run all the way to Narnia to get the kill, or run all the way here to get the kill. And you're incentivized to be bad and to get distracted. So what happens for Warwick players is that they get distracted so easily because of the design. In their, like I said, they're almost incentivized to do it. This actually makes Warwick weirdly difficult to pull off, because you wind up running to places that don't make any sense in terms of your pathing, and then having to adjust and correct. And basically with the league, your goal as a player is to find repeatable systems. When I say repeatable system, Nocturne is the one that, you know, I recommend for a reason, because I can give you a repeatable play style that you learn like how solid it is, and then when you go back to play your Warwick, you can go, okay, this is what I would have been losing playing Nocturne.
Okay.
Like I can, you know, if I veer off here, you understand like the rhythm of the game that you're fucking with. With Nocturne, we can focus on doing our clear efficiently and setting up a pathway like this, right? Which gives us reliable, so you would back here, right? This gives us a reliable path. So if you, like, for example, if you're a laner, right, the waves come out at the same time every time.
Yes.
And so your job is to just stand here and collect the farm and XP. What a lot of junglers don't realize is that when you're doing these like weird like tempo junglers, you don't have a reliable path to golden XP like you do as a laner. So farming, basically what I tell everybody, every aspect that you're like, what you're trying to improve at League of Legends, view League of Legends as a racing game. Don't view it as a MOBA. View it as a racing game. And the race is you're trying to grab as much XP and gold as fast as you can. And in order to make it a racing game is you have to understand that there's often reliable ways to get that golden XP. And once you identify those ways, you just lean into them. And it's kind of like when you go to a magic show and the guy shows you how they do the trick. Before you see the trick, how it's done, you're like, oh, this is so crazy. Like, I just don't know how he's doing this, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's how a lot of people feel when they watch, like if they watch me play or anybody. It doesn't have to be me, like any high elo player, right? They go, well, how's that guy doing it? It's like, it's so mystical. It's crazy. A lot of high elo players will tell you that they just want it to be a repeatable formula. Adrian Riven, totally different playstyle for me. He's a Riven main. I never play Riven. He's been a top challenger player for a while. He said a very similar thing to me when I talked to him on my podcast. Same exact thing. Like you want a controllable start. You want a controllable match where it's like, you know what you're getting. Lathyrus, rank 1 Bard player, last year, or well, technically, yeah, I guess it would be last year because we're getting into a new season. Rank 1 Bard player, peaked rank 1 multiple times. He goes, I never changed my runes because I want the same exact damage. I want the same exact everything, right? A very similar logic. Like, you know, I don't want to make a strategy that's weird, that's out of the ordinary, right? I want things to be controlled and repeatable. So with Warwick, with Warwick, he's a bit of a trap. I call him a trap pick because you would think, because he's so safe, right? You farm the camps safely. You never really get that low in your clear. He's got pretty good dueling. You would think, oh, well, this champion's perfect for newbies, right? He's like the perfect champion. But in reality, he's actually really dangerous because not only is his fighting really technical and kind of weird, but then his farming routes are always fucked up because you're just like, well, I have to run over here because I'm incentivized to do it. It's my kit. My kit gives me blood scent. So then you run, you get the kill, and then you get distracted, and now you're in Narnia somewhere and you don't know where to go next. If you're jungling, right, I showed you that like minions are going down the lane reliably every, you know, just incrementally throughout the game. Minion waves come through, right? The only time that your jungle camps respawn is when you clear them, right?
Yes.
Think about the disparity between a clear then, just the clear alone. Let's say there's 50 champs that are eligible for jungling, okay? And every single jungler does not get any sort of leash. And they're just left to their own devices to clear. Think about how wide the disparity would be from when the first set of camps spawn to the second one, just off of that.
Yeah.
Right? Every player having a different clear and every player having a different level of competency of clearing the jungle. Remember, it's W. Good. You smite the big. Good.
I should have went the other way with that.
Yeah,
so I could
exactly.
faster.
Yeah. Remember, hit the big chicken. Use that Q. We're wasting time. As a rule, you generally don't want to fear camps.
Okay.
And you should have taken a second point in Q.
Okay, this third one is a second point in Q.
I'm surprised you are attempting to do that.
With him, it's easier to get away with it because of the...
Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Scuttle next.
Okay.
Yep, let's go. I want you to see this. It's 312. You finished at about
Just
three.
Like how
you finished at about like 330 something with a leash. Now
without leash.
this is without a leash. Yep. So 312. I want you to see. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I want you to see the difference in everything here. Every little action is clean.
Has a purpose.
Yep. Every movement. Notice how every element of this. So he pulls red all the way to the corner, fades the smite into a Q to draw the golems to him faster, to farm the golems faster, and now he's going to kite the golems in such a way that when they split, they're going to be split perfectly for him, so that he gets the maximum value out of the clear. And so when we get here, it's the same thing. He's going to use every tool to get his jungle camps as close to the next location that he can. See right here, you could take E at level 3 if you want to invade or fuck with people, but realistically, it should be a Q. See?
Okay.
But you see how every little element of this is just fucking mapped. It's mapped, yeah. Now, the reason this is relevant to you right now is because I want you to see that is, hold on, let me. Yeah, that's 142. So 142 basically means that is a 312.
Okay.
He would be there at 312. So 140 is like obviously 310. So the key here is to compare and contrast. So go ahead and post your account name into the Discord chat for me real quick. So look at the difference here.
Yeah, I should have pulled him all the way out.
So when we go to the end point, clear would be done without a leash.
Yeah, that's a lot of improvement.
See that? It's almost 30 seconds. It's technically 25. Yeah. Right away, why does this matter? Well, this matters because it's how fast do you get to something like this. If I go back, watch. Think you would have killed this guy if you were here at 312?
Yep, we kill him.
See, this is why this is really good to go over as a jungler, because you can see it time and time again, game after game. Guy's late to his clear, he misses an opportunity. If you were close to time, let's say that you're not even, let's say that you finish at 320, right? And you're like right here. There's a chance that you turn the corner and just smite this from him if you want. So that's why this is a very important thing to learn. The other thing that I want to tell you since it's preseason is that this scuttle doesn't have as much value as it used to. Do you notice that he's only level 3 even after doing that?
Yeah.
Just last patch, he would be level 4 right now if this happened.
I guess I didn't notice that there was a reduction in the experience you get from it.
Yeah, it's a huge reduction. Watch how low the health is now. Clears it in one rotation.
Yeah.
But that's good for you because now you know this is why I don't care so much about scuttles. I'm more concerned with getting your farm done fast. The scuttles, if they're there, you take them, but don't feel like you've got to now. I'd rather you just focus on hitting your CS. So how do we improve our speed? Well, for you specifically, there's a couple things. Thing one is A left click. A lot of the times you're clicking and misclicking and clicking and misclicking and you're doing this, trying to click on the camp and you're messing up. The way you avoid that is just doing this. Okay. You see how I'm never missing? That's how. A, left click, right click. Thing two, for clearing practice, this is how you get better at it. The cool thing about jungle, I love this role for teaching, and in my opinion, it's the best role because just for general, like being able to practice and fix your game right away. Like if you're shit at mid, so say I'm a TF player and I want to get coached, it's going to be really shitty because I'm going to coach the guy and I'm going to yell at you, but like we can't train for the early game, right? Yeah. Sometimes you're going to go in the early game, you're going to face Yasuo. Sometimes you're going to face the biggest shitter in the world. Sometimes you're going to face Faker. You have no idea, right? We have no clue what we're up against here. But with jungling, we know what we're up against. As long as you get your ward down here at a reasonable time, there's a pretty good chance that you're not getting invaded unless, of course, it's like a Graves and he does one of these invades or a Nidalee. Or a Kindred, I guess. Yeah. You're pretty much not going to get fucked with. And so this whole thing is about you learning whether or not you can clear. So what I like to do is I like to just... You basically just timestamp when you're going to start. So you would say 210, right? Yes. And then as soon as you're at 210, you start it up. You just practice. And this is how you practice. And you just do your thing. Do your clear. Make sure you don't use more than 2 smites or something weird like that. See, I've already screwed the clear up, but it's okay. This is just a demo. And the cool thing about practice tool is you can practice min-maxing your clear like this, right?
Yeah, you keep respawning them.
So 445, right? It's like 155, right? Am I crazy? 155?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? This is only step 1 of jungling, okay? There's 5 different roles in the game, and obviously there's different tiers of the roles. The way this works is I divide the game into the... Ooh, that's kind of a piddly little pubic hair line there. I divide the game into stuff like this. There's intro elo, low elo, right? And high elo, okay?
Okay.
So introductory elo, low elo, and high elo. Introductory elo is iron to gold 4. This is gonna offend some people. Low elo is gold to diamond. You get to diamond, you're basically almost out of low elo. But I view diamond as like you beat the game. Right, this would be like game over, right?
Yeah.
You won if you get to diamond. High elo is your aspiring streamers, amateur players, boosters, and degenerates that like don't have a life and aren't doing anything with the game. I mean, it's just what it is. Sorry. It's just there's literally no reason to go beyond this line if you're not doing anything with it. You're just being fucking weird, dude. Like if you're not trying to monetize it, you're investing. It's like a job, literally.
Yeah.
So getting to diamond or the game over screen is totally doable for a lot of players. If once you get a coaching, you practice, it's not so much about, like insane mental fortitude and fucking grinding like a psychopath and like just all this shit. You can get here pretty reliably. Now for you, you're here and you're somewhere down here right now.
Yeah.
Right. You're in the low portion of the introductory tier. So the reason
portion of the intro.
What's that?
The terrible portion of the intro.
It's not terrible. It's a game and it's a goofy game and it makes no sense. So I'm not judging you at all, to be honest. I just happen to play this forever. So the point here that I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to say anybody's bad or anything like that. I want to be very clear because I just think it's unfair anyways. The game doesn't make any sense. That's why I have this job. And the key with this is to understand that in order for you to just blast past this whole thing that we just went over is your focal point. Okay. This is it. What's the next step? And that's what people are going to ask. Okay, how do I get from here with let's use Nocturne as an example. And all champions have like different examples of what takes them to the next point, right? So let's say you nail the clear. You might have some clunky mechanics still. Maybe you're like me. Maybe if you're asked to do this clear, you'll do a reasonable job, but it's not like a near perfect clear or whatever. I would hope that after today's lesson that you do this until it's nearly a perfect clear, right? Yeah. Because if you do this and get it to a near perfect clear, your mechanics are just going to get better by default, really, is what's going to happen. So in order to get past this position and move forward and to get towards high elo, what would we need to do? Well, the answer is simple. as you're doing your clear, the next step, and this is something that we went over in the boot camp, the next step is very simple.
Better map awareness.
And so you would be working on nailing your clear while juggling, like you said, map awareness. But that's the general premise. We've now laid the rules of the game. You play jungle, you pick a champion. What would you do?
You master the clear.
Exactly. Clear first. The most important point in League of Legends is basically, well, I normally frame it like this, to be honest, about 2 minutes to 7 minutes. Okay. You can get your ult before about 7 minutes anyways, if you're fast. But the first 5 minutes of the game, this is the reason it's 2 minutes, is because it's when minions meet and when the game basically starts, right? Obviously, you can get first bloods with like invades and shit, but realistically, first 5 minutes of the game. Everything past this point, everything that happens past this point is a result of this. Your individual agency over a match, you know, your teammates' individual agency, your opponent's agency is all set up in the early game. So make sure that your early game as a jungler is super crisp because we can control this. This is the only role in the game where we can absolutely control. We can't control anything up here. If I'm playing Jace top and this is, you know, TF Blade on Garen, I'm not going to do shit to him. Right? There's like no way for me to edge this guy out even if I play perfectly. There's nothing I can do. Jungle, however, there's a reason why junglers get insane win rates like every time, year after year after year, because it's not as obvious that what's happening. Like
they're setting themselves up with how quickly they're getting their work done.
The really good junglers, the really good junglers knew all this shit for years. So like Tarzan, for example, like he was season 6 rank 1 with Graves. Graves was like super busted, even more than it is now probably.
Yeah.
And Tarzan was like the only person on NA who was like who understood like, no, you got to clear like fucking perfect fast. And then he would just power farm and then stomp everybody, and like no one really knew what was happening. Right? Well, now everybody kind of gets it, and he doesn't have as wide of an edge anymore. Right? On the ladder like he used to.
Yeah.
So it's just like that. It's like the game, you know, this is the fundamental stuff that we have to clean up. Got it?